Close your eyes and imagine this. You wake up in the morning, shuffle to your kitchen in your slippers, make coffee, then walk down the hall to drop your kids at school. You grab your mail from the post office on the second floor, pick up groceries on the first, stop by the police station to chat with the officer on duty, attend church on Sunday without ever putting on a coat. Now here's the twist. You do all of this with every single person in your town, all 200 of them, living in the same building, sharing the same hallways, seeing the same faces every single day. This isn't science fiction. This isn't a social experiment. This is Whittier, Alaska, a real town where nearly everyone lives under one roof, connected to the outside world by a single tunnel that closes at night, surrounded by some of the most extreme weather conditions on the planet. A town born from World War II military secrets. A place where nature is so brutal that going outside can be dangerous. A community so tight-knit that privacy is almost impossible. By the end of this video, I'm going to ask you one question. Could you survive here? Could you live in a place where your entire world exists, within 4 concrete walls? Let's find out. Before we dive into what makes Whittier so unusual, we need to understand where it is, because geography is destiny here. Whittier sits on the western edge of Prince William Sound in south-central Alaska, about 60 miles southeast of Anchorage. It's surrounded on all sides by the Chugach Mountains, some of the most rugged, unforgiving terrain in North America. To the west, you've got glaciers. To the north, mountains. To the east and south, the icy waters of the Pacific Ocean. Whittier is essentially trapped in a pocket of land, cut off from the rest of civilization. For most of its history, you could only reach Whittier by boat. And I'm not talking about a pleasant cruise. I'm talking about navigating through treacherous waters, dodging icebergs, and hoping the weather doesn't turn on you. Later, small planes started flying in. But again, weather made it incredibly unreliable. Fog, storms, and wind can ground flights for days. Then, in 2000, everything changed. The military railroad tunnel was converted to allow vehicle traffic, and for the first time, you could drive to Whittier. But this isn't your typical mountain tunnel. The Anton Anderson Memorial Tunnel is 2.5 miles long, making it the longest highway tunnel in North America. And here's the catch. It's only 1 lane wide. Oh, and it's shared with the Alaska Railroad. So the tunnel operates on a strict schedule. For about 15 minutes, traffic flows into Whittier. Then it switches, and traffic flows out. Then trains get their turn. Miss your window? You're waiting. And at 10:30 p.m. every night, the tunnel closes completely. If you're in Whittier when that happens, you're not leaving until morning. You're locked in. This isolation isn't just inconvenient. It's fundamental to understanding Whittier. When you're this cut off from the world, you adapt. And Whittier adapted in the most extreme way possible. To understand how Whittier became what it is today, we need to go back to 1941. December 7, 1941, Pearl Harbor is attacked. Suddenly, the United States is at war with Japan, and Alaska, which wouldn't even become a state until 1959, is on the front lines. The U.S. military realized they desperately needed a secret, secure port in Alaska, somewhere they could move troops, weapons, and supplies to the Pacific Theater without Japanese forces knowing about it. They chose Whittier for 3 reasons. First, it's hidden. Surrounded by mountains, it's almost impossible to spot from the air or sea. Second, the water is deep and doesn't freeze, meaning ships can dock year-round. And third, it was completely uninhabited, a blank slate. In 1943, the Army Corps of Engineers began one of the most ambitious construction projects of the war. They blasted a railroad tunnel through solid granite, 2.5 miles through Maynard Mountain, connecting Whittier to the Alaska Railroad. Then they built the port itself. Massive warehouses, fuel depots, railroad yards, barracks. Whittier became a crucial logistics hub, handling everything from tanks to troops. But here's the problem. Whittier's weather is absolutely brutal. We're talking about one of the wettest, windiest places in Alaska. Temperatures regularly drop below zero. The wind howls at 60 miles per hour, and in winter, the sun barely rises. So the military made a radical decision. they would build everything indoors. Not just housing everything. They constructed two enormous buildings. The Buckner Building, completed in 1953, was nicknamed the city under one roof. It had 1,000 rooms and could house the entire garrison. It had a movie theater, a bowling alley, a shooting range, a jail, dining halls, a hospital, everything soldiers needed. Soldiers could go weeks without stepping outside. The buildings were connected by underground tunnels to the port, the power plant, and other facilities. It was a self-contained military city. The second building was the Hodge Building, completed in 1957. It served as the headquarters and had about 150 apartments for officers and their families. Whittier remained a critical military installation through the Cold War. But in 1960, after the massive Good Friday earthquake damaged much of the infrastructure, and with the Cold War winding down, the military began to pull out. By 1968, Whittier was officially decommissioned. The Buckner Building was abandoned and remains empty to this day, a crumbling concrete monument to Cold War paranoia. But the Hodge Building? That's where our story really begins. This is Begich Towers, 14 stories, 150 apartment units, and home to nearly the entire population of Whittier, Alaska. When civilians moved to Whittier in the 1970s, they converted the old military building into condos. Today, it's not just an apartment complex, it's the entire town. Let me show you what's inside. On the first floor, you've got the post office, a small grocery store, and the police station. There's also a laundromat, a health clinic, and even a small convenience shop. The town school isn't technically in the building, but it's connected by an underground tunnel, so kids never have to go outside in winter. Same with the church on the top floor. Residents just take the elevator. One resident described it like this: "I can go weeks without leaving the building. I get my mail, buy groceries, drop my kids at school, and attend church services without putting on a coat." But here's where it gets interesting. Because everyone lives in one building, your neighbors aren't just nearby, they're everywhere. You see the same people in the hallways, at the store, at community events. There's no anonymity, no escaping small-town life. Imagine living in an apartment building, but it's also City Hall, the school, the church, and the grocery store. And everyone knows your business. For some people, that's comforting. For others, it's claustrophobic. The apartments themselves are small, ranging from studios to 2 bedrooms. Some residents have been here for decades. Others stay for a few years and leave. But everyone agrees on one thing: life here is different. Now let's talk about why everyone lives in one building. Because the weather in Whittier is absolutely relentless. Whittier gets an average of 22 feet of snow every year. That's taller than a 2-story house. It also receives over 197 inches of rain annually, making it one of the wettest places in the United States. And the wind? It regularly hits 60 miles per hour. In winter, wind chills can drop below zero and the sun barely rises, leaving the town in near-constant twilight for months. So yeah, building a town indoors wasn't just convenient, it was survival. Inside Begich Towers, it's warm, dry, and safe. Outside, it's a battle with nature. Residents will tell you that the weather isn't just an inconvenience. It's a force that shapes every decision, every routine, every day. And remember, when that tunnel closes at night, you're completely cut off. If there's an emergency, help can't reach you until the tunnel reopens. You're on your own. So what's it actually like to live in Whittier today? Well, the population hovers between 200 and 300 people, depending on the season. For kids growing up here, Whittier is both magical and strange. One former resident said, "I thought every town was like this. I didn't realize how unusual it was until I moved away." The community is incredibly close. Everyone knows everyone. If you need help, your neighbors are right there, literally next door. There's a strong sense of safety, trust, and mutual support. And then there's the beauty. Whittier sits in one of the most stunning places on Earth. Glaciers, whales, eagles, and wilderness surround you. For outdoor enthusiasts, it's paradise. But there are downsides. Jobs are limited. Most people work in tourism, fishing, or the harbor. Entertainment options are non-existent. If you want to see a movie, go to a restaurant, or shop anywhere besides the one small store, you're driving through the tunnel to Anchorage. And privacy? Forget it. In a building this small, everyone knows your schedule, your relationships, your struggles. One resident put it bluntly, you can't have secrets in Whittier. That's why turnover is high. Some people stay for decades. Others last one winter and leave. It takes a certain kind of person to thrive here. All right, let's talk about the weird stuff. Because Whittier has become the subject of internet legends, conspiracy theories, and viral fascination. Some people believe the military still uses Whittier for secret operations. There are rumors of hidden tunnels, underground bunkers, and Cold War experiments. Is any of it true? Probably not. But the abandoned Buckner building doesn't help. It looks like something straight out of a horror movie. Whittier has also gone viral online. People are fascinated by the idea of an entire town living in one building. It's been featured in documentaries, news segments, and countless YouTube videos. Some people romanticize it, calling it cozy and communal. Others call it dystopian. Either way, Whittier has become a symbol of human adaptability in the face of isolation. So here's the big question. Could you live in Whittier? Think about it. In a way, we already live like this. Many of us live in apartment buildings, see the same neighbors every day, share walls and elevators. But Whittier takes it to the extreme. Your entire community is under one roof. You'd trade privacy for safety, convenience for isolation, stunning wilderness for brutal weather. And you'd form bonds with your neighbors whether you wanted to or not. For some people, that sounds like a nightmare. For others, it sounds like home. Whittier, Alaska, is one of the most unique places in America, maybe the world. A town born from war, shaped by weather, and defined by togetherness. So let me know in the comments. Could you live in Whittier? Would you trade your freedom for community? Your privacy for safety? I want to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button. Subscribe for more stories about the world's most unusual places. And hit the bell so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.